Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And we have beautiful, beautiful transformational energies that we are working with. It is, as Pam Youngins from North Point Journal says, it's a big week. So I want to jump in right away at the top of the show with some astrological information, and then we'll work our way backwards into what the unseen has shared for us. So astrologer Pam Youngins, North Point Journal, she says, a big week. The week ahead, this week that we're in, looms large astrologically. Messenger Mercury is traveling very slowly, linked arm in arm with the karmic North Node, and will station direct on Friday. That's the 20th, which is also going to be the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere and the fall equinox in the southern. The new moon midweek today is conjunct Saturn and Neptune, activating another step in the great unraveling that is currently underway. The third and final exact Chiron ERIS conjunction, which reveals the damage caused by the unevolved ego, perfects on Thursday. And the Aries equinox, the astrologic new year, is on Friday. A lot to cover, so let's dive in. And that really sums it up. It's a big week. Astrologically, there are many things happening with Mercury stationing direct. It's conjunct the North Node. It's these activations with the Saturn and Neptune that was at 0 degrees Aries, hasn't happened in 6,000 plus years. The new moon in Pisces. But here's the other piece too, is this Chiron Eris conjunction. And this is from Pam Youngins at North Point Journal. The Chiron Eris alignment in Aries has been active for about a year, with its first exact conjunctions occurring on May 26th and October 8th of 2025. This week, we experienced the third and final peak in the effects of this rendezvous between the wounded healer, Chiron, and the goddess of discord, Eris. Together, Chiron and Eris in Aries reveal exceedingly uncomfortable and ugly truths. Their joint task is to ensure that we no longer ignore the traumas that have been and continue to be inflicted by the unevolved, unconscious ego. Behaviors such as arrogance, aggression, bullying, and violence all become profoundly obvious under this influence. The last time Chiron and Eris were conjunct, also in Aries, was from 1971 to 1972. In the US at that time, the Pentagon Papers revealed to the public the full extent of the nation's involvement in the Vietnam War, information that had been hidden by the government. It was the year of the court-martial trial of the soldiers who were involved in the horrific My Lai massacre. 5 White House operatives were arrested in the beginning stages of the Watergate scandal. And public outcry finally brought about a ban on the pesticide DDT, which was widely used on crops and found to be toxic to both animals and humans, not to mention the environment. Another historic reference point is 2016-2017, when controversy-stirring Eris was powerfully activated through its alignment with liberating Uranus. That was the year the hashtag #MeToo movement, which was first launched in 2006 by Tarana Burke, gained global momentum as women around the world raised their voices to demand justice, having endured abuse, harassment, and assault. So you can see this is a pivotal moment. It's the new moon in Pisces. Of course, it's the last sign of the zodiac of the astrological year. And it's right before, and let me just go to the astrological chart. Thank you, Mercury. And here it is, this astrological chart for the new moon in Pisces. Welcome, Alicia. Welcome, Kiki. And you can see this stellium of planets lined up in Pisces, at the bottom of the wheel of the chart, in Pisces and Aries, the ending of the astrological year, the beginning of it. And so we are literally moving from one era to the next. Massive endings, new beginnings, which we've been talking about. And again, coming up, the conjunction, or pardon me, the equinox that's going to occur simultaneously at the same time Mercury stations direct, conjunct the karmic north node, where humanity is going. So when I looked at this chart, the first thing that I heard was open vortex, revolutionary change. And so, open vortex. An open vortex is a powerful, localized area of spiraling energy, either inward or outward. That accelerates spiritual growth, emotional healing, and mental clarity. Often found in nature, these hotspots, like Sedona, Arizona, act as portals to higher consciousness, helping individuals align with their source or universe to foster feelings of peace, intense connection, and transformative or personal insight. So this astrological moment is an open vortex, is what the unseen is sharing with us. Vortexes can be inward moving, meaning masculine, fostering introspection and grounding, or outward moving, feminine, promoting emotional release and creative expression. They are believed to accelerate spiritual healing, enhance meditation, and amplify personal energy to clear blockages. Being in an open vortex means entering a vibrational state of being that acts as a holding tank for desires and dreams, helping you feel aligned with the universe, with source, with your soul source connection. So there's this moment about the new moon in Pisces that's occurring today slash tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world, the upcoming equinox, and the upcoming Mercury stationing direct conjunct the karmic north node. This is an open vortex. And then it was about revolutionary change. The spiritual meaning of revolutionary change refers to a deep, sometimes painful internal transformation that shifts a person's consciousness from egocentric, fear based living to a life aligned with higher spiritual principles such as love, unity, and truth. It is a radical transformation of one's inner reality, the before and after periods of life, rather than just a gradual improvement. So we are literally ending this Piscean patriarchal era. We've been talking about this and how here's all the interpersonal planets that are shifting along with Neptune and Saturn, conjunct at that 0 degree point Aries. They're all going to come into Aries. And then the other three major outer planets are shifting as well. That's upcoming in April and July are the last two shifts, I believe. And thereby, these massive endings and yet new beginnings, this revolutionary change. You know, true spiritual revelation focuses on transforming one's inner character and aligning with the divine or a higher power rather than just changing external circumstances or structures. It's an inside job. It's that soul source connection aspect. This transformation involves the symbolic death of the ego or the false self, including its fear, need for control, and limiting beliefs to allow for a rebirth into one's true self, soul self. It represents a shift from seeing oneself as separate and individualistic to recognizing one's interconnection with all of life. Rather than trying to fight against external circumstances to find peace, spiritual revolution teaches that we can find an internal, unshakable power that transcends outer chaos. So when we stay centered, solid, connected, it's unshakable, it's all knowing. And that's where our intuition, our soul source connection, our knowing comes in. And that can transcend any of the outer chaos. And lastly, sometimes known as the revolution archetype, this signifies a necessary break from the past, a job, a relationship, or identity that no longer fits to make way for new growth. So we have this open vortex, revolutionary change is the astrological energy that's going along with the Pisces new moon, the upcoming equinox, Mercury stationing direct conjunct the north node. This open vortex, revolutionary change. Number one from the unseen, they said, what you wish to know, you will discover. Listen intently, be open to receive, be ready to act. So, what you wish to know, you will discover. Listen intently, be open to receive, be ready to act. Because again, we're ending and beginning. Massive new beginnings. Every new moon is about new beginnings. Full moons are about completion. So we're looking at this, and the unseen is saying to us, what you wish to know, you will discover. Listen intently, be open to receive. Got to get out of ego, mind, personality. We got to listen with our soul, with our inner knowing, our heart, our inner knowing. Be ready to act. Let's jump quickly. Well, I'm going to go, I want to front load this a little bit. So I want to go to astrologer Chani Nicholas. This is her The Weekly, issue number 107. Aries season and the Astro New Year, question mark. Enough doom scrolling. It's time to get moving. This week's new moon in Pisces is an opportunity to turn inklings into actions. And it happens on the same day as a confidence-boosting Venus-Jupiter square. That is a frictional aspect. Squares are frictional aspects in astrology. Take it as a sign to stop daydreaming and just do the damn thing. Then Mercury stations direct in Pisces on the same day that the Sun enters Aries. That's the equinox, equal day and night. Hard launching both the equinox and the astrological new year. Translation: your goals are about to get their momentum back, and stalled conversations will begin to shift. But don't expect all the wait, what? Conversations or moments to disappear overnight. Mercury is still in a sign where reality, meaning in Pisces, where reality blurs and wires get crossed. So continue to fact check fantasies like it's your job. This is about making sure that you're using discernment. Really listen, take in information, fact find. It's a wonderful, when Mercury's retrograde, it's an incredibly beautiful time to anything, revisit things, relook at them, gather information, but verify, check, listen, allow room, space for everything to come through. Welcome, Olivia. So continue to fact check fantasies like it's your job. And if you need some extra inspiration for the road ahead, upcoming Sundays, Neptune Cazimi, meaning Neptune is in the heart of the sun. Neptune's Cazimi will deliver. Use this rebirth to revitalize the plans you care about most. So see, there is this renewal. There's a grand renewal taking place. It comes with this open vortex revolutionary change, and we're required to listen, to be ready to receive, to be open to receive, ready to act, and thereby. And yes, Olivia is asking, is that 3/18/2026? So yes, the new moon in Pisces is on March 18th. That's today. It can be in the 19th in Europe and Asia and so forth, because it's later. It's in the evening time in the US. So it'll be in the early morning hours into the next day in Europe and Asia and so forth. So, and then of course the equinox is on the 20th. That's Friday. And Mercury stationing direct is on Friday the 20th. So we look at this, and then now let's go to Lena Stevens from the Power Path. And she's talking about the new moon and equinox update. And she says, this is truly a time of new beginnings. And in order to take advantage of the opportunity for a big reset, several things need to be considered. Are you still holding on to an old dream? Are you acknowledging what you need to let go of before moving into a new landscape in your life? This is a fertile time to focus on what is possible instead of regretting the past or feeling ambivalent about the future. This is actually an exciting time to be inspired, to think of bringing more magic and spiritual gifts into your life. Be open to new relationships that are not on the same page as you, and be discerning about putting up with relationships that may drag you into a karmic quagmire. In some ways, there is a sorting hat at work here. When something is not aligned, it will fail. When it is aligned, it will succeed. Be careful what you ask for during this time, as the portal, open vortex portal, to manifesting is pretty wide open. Make sure your intentions come from the heart and are aligned with what you personally have a passion for. So this is being open, ready to receive, ready to act, and also that it is aligned with your true self, meaning your soul self, not your ego, mind, personality, what it's saying it wants or doesn't want, and all of those things, or it might be hanging on or afraid to act or afraid to change or afraid to move forward. This is about taking, and it's here, it's number 4 from the unseen, and 4 is foundational. It's take it piece by piece, step by step, all comes together. And there was this aspect when they said all comes together, the unseen emphasized the word together. It's going to be our hexagram 13 that we're working with, which is fellowship, socialize. But it's also, there was a very strong emphasis on oneness, unity, understanding. And so, of course, all comes together. Again, it begins within. So is our ego, mind, personality, human in alignment with our soul source connection, our soul, in alignment with our heart? Are all of these things aligned? They come together piece by piece, step by step. So it's not to become overwhelmed by these major changes, endings, beginnings, because you can easily, and you'll see later there's more information about this, where you can easily become overwhelmed, fall into despair, give up. And instead, what the unseen, the divine, is saying to us is break it down, take it piece by piece, step by step, use discernment, listen to your soul, gather information, and then stay open to allow these things to permeate, percolate, and eventually what's meant to rise, the cream rises to the top. Well, what's meant to rise will rise. It will become very clear what is meant for you and what isn't, what to let go of, what to strive towards, what to reach for. And so, number 4 from the unseen, piece by piece, step by step, all comes together. Oneness, unity, understanding. What you wish to know, you will discover. So when we earnestly wish to know something, we will discover it. And it requires us to listen intently, be open to receive, be ready to act. To go as guided is essentially what this is saying. So just to finish up with Lena Stevens at the Power Path, and the equinox is Friday, March 20th. The equinox is significant as a real reset point. Take some time and discipline to reflect on what in your life needs to be reset and what steps you need to take to either release what is in the way or to have the courage to go for a change. We move into Aries, a fire sign, and Mercury goes direct, giving this time a boost of energy that can either overwhelm or derail you, or anchor you into a good flow towards your physical, emotional, and spiritual path. So see, when we're open to receive and we just stay centered and calm and we discern, fact find, take necessary action, but it doesn't mean that we're actually pulling the trigger. We're being actionary in the sense that we're gathering wisdom, information, input. And so it can either overwhelm and derail, or it can anchor you into a good flow towards your physical, emotional, and spiritual path. Because the knowing will be that massive change is at hand. And thereby, what are we doing are we flowing with the change? Are we flowing with it? Or are we resisting it, pushing back against it? And that's that cosmic 2x4 that you'll only experience it once. And then you'll listen the next time, because it's not fun when the universe comes out with the cosmic 2x4 and whacks you. It's not fun. So, and number 2 from the unseen is piercing the veil of illusion. A new you appears, a new you dawns. So we're going to pierce the veil of illusion. And Pisces, Neptune, Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So you have all of this, it can be illusion, delusion, but it can also be highest ideals, very pure, highest ideals. What we're all striving for, what we all want, is that the purity of the highest ideals, the highest octave of ourselves. And so it's about reaching higher. So now let's move into our main theme. And our main theme is, which I just love, forced growth. The dawn of a new day, exclamation point. So forced growth, the dawn of a new day. Forced growth is a spiritual experience where the universe, the soul, divine intelligence, the divine accelerates personal evolution through uncomfortable circumstances, often bypassing the ego's desire for comfort, safety, or timing. It is a process of being molded when life forces a pause, such as through crisis, loss, major life changes, designed to break down old patterns and build a more resilient, authentic, and compassionate self. So this is the unseen, because these are major changes astrologically. We've been talking about this. They're major changes. And so again, it's forced growth. The universe is forcing us to expand, to transcend, ascend, elevate, reach that higher octave. And they're not waiting around. It's not up for debate or consideration or procrastination or delay or any of those factors. It's a fait accompli. It's a done deal. As above, so below. It's not as above, as below, so above. It's as above, so below. So this is divine order, cosmic order, divine will, divine law that's forcing this growth. It's about surrendering to divine timing. So forced growth signals that your soul is ready to expand, even if your human, ego, mind, personality, human, self is not. It demands a surrender of your plans to a higher, more aligned path. It reminds me of life happens while you're planning, that quote, that idiom, life happens while you're planning. Well, this is about that you surrender your plans to the higher, more aligned path. Like a seed cracking to sprout, the forced disruption is seen as a necessary, sometimes painful, breaking, a crucible that initiates a higher level of consciousness. It occurs when you have stayed in a situation or mindset longer than necessary for your growth, and the universe has made your current environment too uncomfortable to maintain or remain. Forced growth breaks down the ego and its defenses, pride, habits, fear, stripping away illusions of control to reveal true inner strength and connection to source. It is often described as a rapid, uncontrollable period of metamorphosis, like a kundalini awakening or rising, that modernizes your being to hold a higher frequency, often requiring intense rest and life adjustments. It's about going with the flow. The more you're in the flow, the more you just, joyfully surrender to the process, the smoother it is, the faster you arrive, at the other, you walk the fire, you're through to the other side. And lastly, it is a transition meant to build character, love, and patience rather than just achieving success or material comfort. Pardon me. So this is internal transformation. And pardon me. So we're looking at this beautiful, the spiritual meaning of forced growth, and then the dawn of a new day. The dawn of a new day spiritually symbolizes hope, divine renewal, and the transformative shift from darkness to light. And it signifies a fresh start, representing the divine's faithfulness, the promise of new opportunities, and an invitation to let go of the past to embrace spiritual awakening and inner transformation. It is an invitation from the unseen, the divine, God, the all that is. Because again, humans have free will. We have free choice. And this is where, again, that cosmic 2x4, because again, the soul is in alignment, in oneness, in harmony in understanding with the divine, the unseen. And thus, it's when are we not in the flow? When are we not letting go willingly to receive the invitation to advance? It's only when we resist, when we procrastinate and resist and push back, and yet there's a knowing. And that, so we're resisting the internal knowing. That's your soul saying, I know that I'm to do this. I know I'm to make this change, but I'm afraid. I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's when the trust and the centeredness of your soul, that soul source connection, that's when you need to rely on it the most. It is what will sustain you. The rest is an illusion. All of the material trappings, whether it's, a person, a place, a thing, an identity, a label, monetary value, whatever it may be, those are illusions. We didn't come into this life with them. We don't leave with them. What we come in with and what we leave with is your soul source connection, your soul, the divine. And so it's to listen to that relationship first and foremost. Lean in to that to deliver you, to make it less painful and more smooth. Does it take chutzpah, as they say? Yes. Because the ego mind personality, the alarm bells are ringing and they're like, it's worried that you're not going to be safe. But the soul knows you already are. So it's just, okay, let me show up. So the dawn of a new day, it's about spiritual awakening, inner transformation. Each sunrise acts as a reminder of God's unwavering faithfulness and mercy, providing a new creation moment every morning. It is a daily opportunity to start over and experience renewal. Dawn represents the triumph of hope over despair, shedding light on the darkness of past burdens, worries, or spiritual ignorance. It symbolizes the awakening of the true inner self, the soul self, and the rise of spiritual consciousness. It invites individuals to move from a state of sleeping potential to living in the fullness of their purpose. The rising sun brings relief and peace, offering the promise of better times after trials, and signifies deliverance from spiritual captivity. It encourages setting aside the old way of thinking to embrace a new era of life, often seen as a symbolic resurrection or a new heaven and new earth within one's own life. It is a time of renewed spiritual insight where light breaks through in life's darkest cracks. We could say that we're experiencing life's darkest cracks and moments, and yet there's light breaking through. And biblically, the sun represents the sunrise, representing the healing and restoration promised in Scripture, particularly in Malachi 4:2. So there's this beautiful forest growth. I'm just going to bring it back up again. Such a beautiful image of the sunburst rising. You see a meadow of grass and this lone tree. Forced growth, the dawn of a new day. What you wish to know, you will discover. Piercing the veil of illusion, a new you appears, a new you dawns. And this piece by piece, step by step, all comes together. Oneness, unity, understanding. So let's look at hexagram 13. And it's known as fellowship, socialize. And it's our first quote. And this is from divination.com. When communal or tribal bonds unite a group of people, great success is possible. Communal or tribal bonds, when they unite a group of people, recognize that that same truth is when communal tribal bonds within yourself. When we unite ego, mind, personality, human with soul source connection, with heart, with truth and authenticity, great success is possible. But such bonding only develops when personal interests are subordinate to virtuous human relations, like open communication and empathy. They happen when we subordinate the ego, mind, personality, human to the will of the soul, to the divine. And we do it with open communication and empathy. The broader the perspective, the greater the good that can be achieved. And the greater the potential good, the more powerful the support behind it. See, it's when it's aligned in truth and purity and goodness, and it raises everyone. And it brings us to our second quote, which is right on point here. A spirit of cooperation steadies the boat for the good of all, though it does help to have a beautiful island of high ideals to row toward. So again, there's an aspect here where the unseen is speaking to us about our highest octave, higher ideals, and that a tide lifts all boats. Well, a spirit of cooperation steadies the boat for the good of all. It's when we look, and this is an Aquarian age, it is a matriarchal age, it is a we the people age, which we've spoken about, where it's an inverse of where we've been. When we look at what we do from a soul source connection place, and we place that out into the world, then by reciprocity, we receive. Where we've been is I, me, ego. I go out and do something, and maybe you'll benefit, maybe you won't. Somebody else will benefit, maybe the whole will benefit or not. But where we're moving to, where we are, this matriarchal Aquarian era is about the purity. The rising tide lifts all boats. That it's this, when we operate from that octave, greatness occurs. Success, if you will. So hexagram 13 from divination.com. Learn to respect the power of diversity. For a community's strength lies not only in its numbers, but in the diverse skills and collective resources of its members. When we seek the beauty in people, places, and things that are different from us, diverse from us, there's a joy in it when we allow that. We can condemn it and ridicule and demean and diminish it, or we can find the beauty and the value in it. And so this is about learn to respect the power of diversity, for a community's strength lies not only in its numbers, but in the diverse skills and collective resources of its members. Like the stoutest walls reinforced with different materials, the strongest groups benefit from a tolerance of differences, strengthening the fabric of the whole. It's when we come together at the table and everyone has a place at the table, and we can learn when everyone's open to receive, they're listening, they're connected. Well, then it's not about the ego. It's about what is the divine working through us. And what do we bring to the table, we the people? What do we bring to the table? That when we collectively weave this tapestry, this fabric, it strengthens the whole, which means when it's strengthening the whole, we then in reciprocity individually receive. We rise, we strengthen. We become more inspired. We become more awake to the possibilities. And lastly, quote 3, with a unified group solidly behind you, even difficult enterprises can be undertaken without great risk. See, with a unified group solidly behind you. Well, just imagine that unified self within you, solidly behind you. All aspects of self are unified. They're operating as one. There's no air. There's no light or gap separation. So the ego, mind, personality, the heart, the human, the soul, the spirit, they're all operating as one. They're solidly behind you. It means that difficult enterprises can be undertaken without great risk, because we're unified, we're listening, we're going as guided. And this is going to be what the unseen is saying in the moment is this aspect, this way of being is going to become more and more and more and more prevalent until it is the reality. I was going to say the new reality, but the reality. Where we've been is separation. Where we are, where we're going, oneness, unity, understanding, unified, all as one. So now let's go to our mantra. And our mantra is, I reset through the divine, because this is a reset period. This is a great time, this open vortex and the revolutionary change and forced growth and the dawn of a new day. It's about I reset through the divine. And this signifies a conscious spiritual surrender to the divine for renewal, shifting focus from self-effort to divine alignment, divine will, divine time, divine order. It is an intentional, often gradual process of letting go of past burdens, routines, even sins, to receive spiritual refreshing and reorder one's life according to divine purpose. It's what your soul came to do, not what your ego, mind, personality, the experience and what it thinks or what it wants or doesn't want. This is about what divine purpose, what your soul came to accomplish, to do. It is not about a total restart, but fixing or adjusting one's life to bring priorities and heart posture back into alignment with divine will. It's allowing the divine to renew the mind and transform one's life, leaving the old behind and embracing a new, upgraded creation. It's a higher octave. A move away from personal striving to resisting in the divine's presence, relying on divine strength rather than personal effort. So this is a moving away from quote unquote personal striving, ego, mind, personality striving, to place that in service to, in alignment with soul source connection, divine, soul's purpose, divine purpose, and harnessing that creative force to bring that about. And it's about preparation for newness. It's the divine uses this process to prepare individuals for what is about to be released next, encouraging trust and intentionality. Because we know when it's time to let go of something, person, place, thing, whatever it may be, we know, it's a knowing that you know it's time to let go. That means you have a choice. Will you trust in the unseen? Will you trust in your soul source connection? Will you listen intently, be open to receive, and be ready to act, to go as guided? Because there's intentionality here. There is a very specific and clear ending and beginning. And lastly, this spiritual reset is seen as a necessary, loving intervention that acts like a spiritual pause button, allowing for restoration and deeper intimacy with the divine, with your soul self, your true self. Because all the other things, again, are illusion, delusion, trappings that the ego, mind, personality, human creates to feel safe. And yet the question to ask oneself is, absent all those things, you stand alone. You're not in a home. You're not at this job. You don't have that title. You don't have this money in your bank account. You don't have all of this. Who are you? That's the purity. That's the real truth and the purity of who you are. All the other things are just extra, set decoration. What really matters is when all of those things are absent, who are you? And your soul will tell you. Most likely you will hear, who are you? You are love. You're love. Well, in the purity of that love, what is it that my soul said it would do? What is it that my soul came to do? It will be different than what your ego, mind, personality, human is telling you or willing to do or not willing to do and all that. And when we suspend that and we just listen and we full faith and trust, the unseen, the soul delivers us. It will always give you more than you would have ever asked or chosen for yourself. It happens over and over and over again with clients and my own personal experience. I know it will happen with you because the ego, mind, personality wants to play it safe. The soul knows no limits. What it knows is true north. It knows your highest octave, your deepest purity, your deepest truth. And when you align with that, it's unstoppable, unshakable. Number 3 from the unseen, they said, make no mistake about it. There is, quote, no turning back. And then they said, ... And why would you want to? Why would we want to go back We've already been there, done that. We've already experienced those things. So make no mistake about it. There is, quote, no turning back. And why would you want to? Because there's so much ahead of us. There's so much that we have yet to see, experience, expand into, as above, so below. And this is an expansion of consciousness, an expansion, the plasma consciousness we talked about in prior shows. It is this up-leveling of humanity, of the world, of the whole of the whole. We've already been where we've been. So again, free will and choice, but choose to embrace this profound and this forced growth, this dawn of a new day, this I reset through the divine. It's through the divine that we reset. The open vortex, the revolutionary change. It's also our keyword, which is sincerity. It's when we do things from a sincere place, from an authentic place, that these things become, they're made manifest, and they're made manifest in a very effortless way. Great things can happen. The spiritual meaning of sincerity is the alignment of inner motives with outer actions, representing a heart free from pretense, hypocrisy, or deceit. It implies wholehearted devotion to spiritual truth and divine will rather than just religious performance, meaning doing something over and over and over again. Sincerity is purity of heart, essential for genuine spiritual growth. Sincerity is the active embodiment of spiritual principles, not merely knowing them. It's the embodiment of them, not just knowing them. It means living according to truth regardless of difficulties. It is not about perfect compliance, but rather being honest about one's struggles and desires before the divine. So this isn't about being perfect. It's about, or perfect compliance. It's about being honest. It's about being raw, vulnerable with yourself before the divine. It is characterized by transparency and humility. It requires an unwavering willingness to be honest with oneself, acting as a safeguard against self-deception, and involves avoiding the need to, quote, put on a show for others, focusing instead on honest internal transformation. This is about walking the walk, talking the talk, and really just being true, authentic and true. If it's not someone else's cup of tea, that's okay. That's their issue, not yours. All you need to do is show up purely, authentically, and allow them to play the role they're playing in your life. On a soul level, we've all asked each other to play particular roles and so forth for us. And yet it's to hold true to your soul source connection, to your knowing, to persevere, to keep reaching higher. Because number 6 from the unseen, they said somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And of course, the song was made hugely popular and known through The Wizard of Oz. I'm going to share the version by Lauren Allred when she performed on Britain's Got Talent. But somewhere over the rainbow, it's number 6, it's Spirit and Service. And just the lyrics to the song, you know, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. It's when we listen, when we suspend ego, mind, personality, human, and all the fear and the shadow and the goo, and we just intently listen, greatness occurs. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Well, this is true. We have been conditioned for centuries, millennia, in a particular octave, a particular paradigm. And that octave and that paradigm is crumbling. It had its moment. It had the height of its goodness, if you will. And now we're reflecting, we're bearing witness to the height of its shadow, its goo, where it all went awry. Because again, divine masculine in its purity is wonderful. It's the creative force. It's chivalry. It's all of these wonderful things. It's creative action. In its shadow, it becomes corrupt. It becomes oppressive. It's like running roughshod over everything. It forgets its harmony and its balance, its purity. Well, now we're in Aquarian matriarchal era, which isn't the feminine over the masculine. It's the unity, the oneness, the understanding of them, the harmony, the yin yang of them, and how we harness that, the purity of the divine masculine, for the benefit of all, of the whole of humanity and the cosmos and Mother Earth, Mother Nature, all of this. And when those things are in harmony, it's true north, it's true spring. They're not out of whack. Again, that from within, it begins within. It begins individually, and as each one of us do it, there's a ripple effect, and it builds upon itself. And so we have our mantra, we have our keyword, and now I want to go to, yes, what is it? We're going to go to Astrology by Lauren. She begins with a quote by John Donne. "No man is an island, entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less, as well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thine own, or of thine friends were. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee." It means we're interconnected. It means we are one. This piece by piece, step by step, all comes together. Oneness, unity, understanding. Number 5 from the unseen is, when you see yourselves or yourself in others, lasting change occurs. It is that simple truth about do unto others as you would have done to you. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Well, when you see yourselves or yourself in others, lasting change occurs. It's namaste, I bow to the divine in you. When we see our likeness in others, we wouldn't harm them because we would be harming ourselves. So it's really this beautiful moment of, therefore, send not to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. What we do to others, we do to ourselves. What we do to ourselves, we do to others. It's one intricate, beautiful, divine tapestry. Astrology by Lauren, and she is speaking about the new moon in Pisces and more. This week, both Mars and retrograde Mercury will be conjunct the north node of the moon. Mercury will be conjunct the north node until the end of this month, gently prodding us in a certain direction. The north node directs where humanity is going. The south node is what we're releasing. The more connected we are connected to that soul center, like a calling, like a whisper from the gods, the more we are being led to realize our true path and calling. It's when we listen to our soul source connection, the more we're intent on doing that, the more aligned we are, the more aligned we become. Mars, on the other hand, is a planet of action. It does not wish to wait. Even in the vague and fog-filled fields of Pisces, Mars will be Mars. Mars is in Pisces right now. Note that there are no true boundaries with Pisces that can help us to rein Mars in. Impulsive, drawn to react emotionally, Mars at this critical juncture with the North Node in Pisces can lead us to do things that we might later regret. Mercury retrograde in Pisces can only muddy these waters for now, but by the time Mars moves on to trine Jupiter next week, that's a harmonious aspect, and Mercury slows for its direct station as it's doing today. And remember, when a planet stations, either direct or retrograde, the vibration, the intensity of it is magnified. So, and Mercury slows for its direct station on the 20th today. That sense, or pardon me, that's Friday. That sense of urgency, impatience, and martial angst will begin to wane. So where Mars will be Mars and it's in Pisces, again, discernment. It's about gathering information. You want to wait to make any final big decisions if you can. Wait, get into mid-April. You'll be out of the post-shadow window from Mercury retrograde. You'll have all of this fact-finding, all of this gathering. It doesn't mean do nothing between now and then. It means listen intently, be open to receive, be ready to act, gather information, discern, so that when you make that decision mid-April, because the decisions we make are going to have long-lasting effects and so forth. So you want to know that you're in divine compliance and alignment and divine will and order, that everything is clicking into place exactly as it should be. Not all things can be known quite so clearly. Thankfully, the upcoming new moon, that's occurring today at 28 degrees Pisces, 27 arc minutes, can be illuminating. It is exactly sextile, that's a harmonious aspect in astrology, the planet Uranus, it's the higher mind, expect the unexpected, which can shine a light even in the murkiest of weather. But the new moon is also within the bounds of Neptune, the modern co-ruler of Pisces, and the lord of fogs, illusions, and misguided assumptions. Pisces and its ruling planet Neptune can lead us down the garden path, but they can also escort us into the land of the fairies, the imagination, and the boundless realms of compassion and deep, heartfelt understanding. Oneness, unity, understanding. The lands of the gods, they are not of this they are not of this earth, but they can connect us all in such a profound and meaningful way that if anything, we come to realize and understand our interconnections with each other on a very deep and meaningful level. This can be economically and politically, but also personally. The last new moon on February 17th was a solar eclipse closely square, frictional aspect, Uranus. This new moon is sextile Uranus, a less active aspect astrologically than a square, and yet still an aspect of potential and illuminating surprises. With this sextile Uranus can open doors to revelation and innovation. So this sextile to Uranus, this is just a Mercury retrograde. See, it's stationing, and it's like Uranus, it can open doors to revelation, so knowing, and innovation. Uranus shows us new and better ways of doing things and can free us up for ever better things to come. It's a shaking loose. It's that the mandrakes being uprooted from that small pot, being transplanted into larger, greater pots for greater growth and evolution. One way it does that is by giving us permission to embrace our own individual journey, wherever that may take us. See, this is about being authentic and true to oneself. Others may not like that truth, that authenticity. But again, that's a them issue, not a you issue. It's about holding fast to what is true for you, come what may. And thereby, it brings about this, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. It delivers you to a higher octave, a higher truth, a deeper authenticity and purity. Once there, those that are aligned with you at that octave, at that level, the old falls away, the new comes. Astrology by Lauren. Pisces is a mystical and magical sign, prone to idealistic notions and big dreams. This becomes that much more meaningful following the recent Saturn-Neptune conjunction on February 20th at that 0 degrees Aries point, as the ruling planet of Pisces, but now in Aries, Neptune is asking us all to perhaps redirect and take action on our big vision for the future. We have choices. We can give in and give up. We talked about that earlier. So we can give in and give up, succumbing to the bleak perspective that the ominous shadow of Saturn can convey. But then there's that sextile to Uranus, like a door opening, a chance to get out of whatever it is you got into, no matter how dismal things may have previously seemed. Uranus is here to remind us that there is hope. Hope and the faith that there are always alternatives, and that perhaps, just maybe, better hearts and minds will prevail. And this is the Sabian symbol for Mars in the new moon in Pisces chart, is about divine willpower, not our willpower, but aligning ourselves with divine willpower. Where is the divine, your soul source connection, leading you, guiding you, taking you? It's Mars, creative action. So it's aligning with divine willpower. Astrology by Lauren continues. In Pisces season, we are asked to connect with that which we might consider to be the divine or mystical presence in our lives, all the more so with Mercury retrograde and conjunct the North Node in Pisces. Whether that means a spiritual practice or connecting to that part of you that feels magical, meaningful, and true on a very deep level. That part of us that transcends the real world. When all those other things are gone, absent, who are you? Mercury retrograde in Pisces rarely speaks in words. It speaks in feelings. Its voice is so subtle that it is easily drowned out in the hustle and bustle of our daily lives. This is why what you wish to know you will discover. Listen intently. Yet it is the voice in the silence that feeds the soul and brings meaning to our lives. And without that connection, we would always feel as if something deeply significant was missing. Without listening to our soul source connection, our intuition, our knowing, the divine, something deeply significant is missing. New moons are times of new beginnings. The new moon in Pisces is the perfect time to connect to our own big vision for the future, buoyed by the recent station of Jupiter. We can do this through our dreams, your craft, your imagination. We can do this. This is number 7 from the unseen. This is picture perfect you! Exclamation point. And then they said, the magician. So these are all major arcana in the tarot. Major arcana, when they show up, they're about fated change. They're about growth and advance. They're about destiny. So here, picture perfect you. The magician, the fool, the world, the wheel of fortune. The wheel and the world of fortune, they're all about change. They're all about endings and beginnings, but these are fated. This is destiny. This is big change. This isn't the minor arcana. And ultimately, the sun. The sun is the happiest card in the tarot deck. It is the most joyous, which is saying there's a brighter future, a brighter outcome. We need only choose it. So picture perfect you. The magician, the fool, the world, the wheel of fortune, the sun. That is 5 major arcana energies showing up in the energies this week about this time, because we're ending the astrological year, Pisces, as these interpersonal planets all move into Aries, the beginning of the astrological year. All happening in the weeks and the days surrounding the equinox, Mercury stationing conjunct the North Node. There's just this major forced growth, the dawn of a new day. So, Astrology by Lauren, new moons are times of new beginnings. The new moon in Pisces is the perfect time to connect to our big vision for the future, buoyed by the recent station of Jupiter. We can do this through our dreams, your craft, your imagination. That connection can be further cultivated through acts of compassion and divine service, through nature, and by allowing the divine spark to speak through us and what we do. This is Aquarian matriarchal. Allow your soul source connection, your soul self, your higher octave, to come through, to guide you and lead you, so that what we do, it's the divine spark that's speaking through us. Dare to cast your net far and wide with the new moon in Pisces. Cast your net out into the ocean of life, and there's no telling what might come back. And she speaks about, may I have the faith to allow divine guidance, my prevailing beliefs, my intuition, my higher self, my consciousness, to lead me along the path. I am a spiritual being filled with light and a love that knows no bounds. May I draw it forth as needed. My imagination is vast. May I find the best medium which allows it to speak through me. Through a regular practice of peace and inner contemplation, may I be confident that I will find guidance and understanding. I have music, wonder, and possibility in my heart. May I reclaim it and carry it with me wherever I go. My heart is strengthened when it is filled with compassion for all things and all beings everywhere, without exception. That is the beautiful tapestry that we're talking about. And she ends with a quote by Donna Tartt. And as much as I'd like to believe there's a truth beyond illusion, I've come to believe that there's no truth beyond illusion. Because between reality on the one hand and the point where the mind strikes reality, there's a middle zone, a rainbow edge where beauty comes into being, where two very different surfaces mingle and blur to provide what life does not. And this is the space where all art exists and all magic. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And they said, the unseen said, dream with exclamation points, possibilities with exclamation points, a smiley face. It's the sun card. Just bringing this back up. It's the sun card. It's the happiest, most joyous outcome and card in the tarot. And so we find ourselves at this moment of massive transition and change. This forced growth, the dawn of a new day. I reset through the divine. I reset through sincerity. I receive through sincerity. It's an open vortex of revolutionary change. What you wish to know, you'll discover. It's piercing the veil of illusion. There's a new you, a new dawn. Make no mistake about it, there's no turning back. And why would you want to? Piece by piece, step by step, all comes together. Oneness, unity, understanding. When you see yourselves or yourself in others, lasting change occurs. Picture perfect you. It's the magician, the fool, the world, the wheel of fortune, the sun. And lastly, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. That's where you'll find me. That's where I want to find you. So that's where the unseen, the divine wants to find us, to be one with us, heaven on earth. Until next week, be well, enjoy these major energies of transformation and change. Listen intently, be open to receive, be ready to act. We'll see you next week.